Listen, when I started learning about the Zohar, sometimes I got really excited and really turned on about the amazing possibilities of the different kind of fulfillment, the different perceptions, the different worlds. I could almost taste it, or at least I really wanted to taste it. You know, it started to feel doable, tangible, you know? And then I got hit with all these doubts. I mean, I needed something practical. If what I have to reach for all this to happen is this unconditional desire to give, but my nature can only receive, and it will never let me do that, how am I ever going to ever break down this wall between them? I was so disillusioned. It was like I'd lost the most valuable thing I ever had. I didn't go to class for weeks, and when I couldn't take it any longer, I cornered my teacher, and I said, why did you open up all these feelings in me? I mean, if there's nothing you can tell me about what I could do with them, what's the purpose of all this? And he just smiled at me, and he said, congratulations, now I can tell you. I was planning on covering something else today, but I think you guys are ready for this. There's two practical keys, tools in the method described in the Zohar. And what you have to do to be able to work above your nature, to penetrate that iron wall that separates you from that higher level of nature that we call spirituality, you've got to put one key inside the other one. Today we're going to talk about the first one. It's called the screen, or the work in 3 lines. It's the way that higher nature is structured. So if you want to enter it, you have to work with what it is. Every other method, from meditation to science, they're only aware of and they only work with 1 or 2 of these lines. But without the 3rd line, it's impossible to break through that barrier. There's the giving force, the right line or plus, and the receiving force, the left line or minus. Even in an electrical circuit, you can't just connect them together or they short out and nothing happens. To get them to work, you need to put a resistor between them, but not a resistance to giving or a resistance to receiving. That's your action in the system, and the Zohar calls that effort the screen. The screen is the soul. This inner inversion, the building of an anti-egoistic intention, it's actually a sensor that allows us to feel what the Zohar calls the Creator. It functions like a resistor, a barrier to the spiritual field so that we can feel it. You see, as long as we focus on the gift, we can never feel the giver, and we stay anchored in the physical world. We just unconsciously receive, and the Creator remains concealed from us. We always think about fulfillment because that's what we're made for. The thought behind creation is an intention to make a creature and fill it with unlimited pleasure. We are the creature, the will to receive. It's what we're made of. It's not good, it's not bad, it can't change, and it doesn't prevent us from breaking through. We can't control the kind of desires we have, and we're not responsible for them. They come from the giving force, and so does the pleasure that fills them. The desires are not us. Only the reason we receive the pleasure is us. That's the only thing we need to work on, and it changes everything. If I intend to receive whatever it gives, not from me, but instead to realize the intention behind creation, if I feel the pleasure only to allow the Creator to fulfill His desire to give, then my receiving turns into giving, and I enter and I unify with the supreme intelligence behind nature. So receiving remains receiving, but above that, my intention and the intention of the giving force are one and the same thing, and we're both giving fulfillment to the other in the very same pleasure. The more strength I have to oppose taking pleasure only for myself, the greater the light that enters. In other words, the aim of my work is to have a constant aspiration for the giver, and this aspiration is also my fulfillment. So now, you're not controlled either by your will to receive, which is the left line, or the pleasure from the Creator, which is the right line. But you've become an independent desire to give, which is the birth of the soul. That's the first key. But to activate it, we need the second key, the second practical key. And we'll do that next time. A little exercise. This week when you visit your mom and she puts some of your favorite food on the table, see how much of it you can eat just so she gets pleasure from seeing you enjoy. It's not spiritual, but it's going to make things a lot clearer.